Hey, what's up, friends? Moses here from Driver Success. I hope and pray that you guys are doing well. As you can see, this is kind of a different video. As I mentioned to you guys, I do receive a lot of people contact me seeing if I can, like have some collaborations or review some products. And most of the times I don't, unless I know it's something that is going to help me or help some of you that are watching the channel. There has to be something where I feel like it's either going to help me and I'm just going to give you my honest review, or something that I believe that you people will be interested in or you will use. So this right here is a truck GPS. I got this way back. The company contacted me way back, I think it was in June or July. And so it came in two boxes. One of this I don't really use, but looks like it has, like you can put this on the side of your truck so that it can, help you when you're backing up, like to see at the side of your truck. Now, the reason why this personally doesn't work for me is because I'm a company driver, which means I cannot really use this on my truck. So I see this more helpful to own operators. If you're an own operator and you want something to help you, in your blind spot, this is something that could be useful. It's like a camera. You hook it up so that you can be able to see it from, I believe, from the GPS. I've never actually even tested it out to see how it works. All I know that it looks to be a camera. It has some lights there, and then it comes with this long wire that I believe you can connect to it and some other stuff. So I don't use really this. The product that I was interested in, that I wanted to review when they contacted me, was the GPS itself. And as I said, they contacted me way back in June, July. So when I first used this, okay, let me first start off with the hardware. Compared to, I didn't bring my GPS that I have. I have the Garmin, I believe that's the name, but it's a smaller one. So compared to the size, I looked at this and I'm like, oh my God, this is big. Like I like it when you put it up, it's big. Now the difference that I really felt the very first time first and foremost, as I said, I liked the size. And then when I took it up, if I'm to compare it with the Garmin, I felt like the Garmin, for this, like electronics, I always want something that kind of feels a little heavier or something like that. So like I was surprised. This is really light. And so I expected it to be a little, like heavier than, because of the size, but it's not. So I don't know really. I've never held one of those bigger tracking GPS, but that's the first thing, at least for me, that I realized. I'm like, it's not as heavy as I expected it to be. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing with the way stuff changes technology wise, but I thought this would be a little heavier, but it may be a good thing. It seems the plastic is like that normal GPS, but again, as I said, the way it feels, I prefer the way the Garmin feels to this, but again, that has to do with preferences, maybe. Of course, it comes with the charger you connect to charge it, and then it comes with this suction cup. It's like when you see it, it's kind of cheap, but it does its work. But to me, it's a little cheap. I hope. Did I lose something here? Oh, there we go. I expect it to be a little more than this, but it, like using it really holds well on the windshield. So I guess that's fine. And then of course you just hook it on in there. So it's the GPS that I really want to review. When I first got this in July, even though I liked everything about it when it comes to the hardware and the things that it does, the problem was with the maps. And of course, that's the main thing, reason for getting the GPS, right? The maps were really bad. Like, it could not recognize a lot of the roads I was on. And at first I'm like, oh, maybe it's because like Texas is developing at a very high rate, and so maybe it doesn't recognize some of the new roads. But then I realized it wasn't even recognizing the old roads that it should be able to recognize. So I contacted the company and I told them, hey, I like, like the size and some of the features that you have, but I'll be honest with you, I don't know if the maps are out of date, because it looks like it's not recognizing the stuff, the roads. So they sent me a link to download new maps, which I did, but still, after updating it, it wasn't working. So after like maybe a couple of weeks or a month, they sent me another link, and I didn't have the time by then, but then last week I went out, I downloaded the new maps they gave me, and I wanted to try it out, and I am impressed because at least now, I don't know which company they work with concerning maps, but last week I used it and I am impressed. They did a good job in updating those maps, and now at least there are a few places that it doesn't recognize, but most of the time it did a good job. The few places that it didn't necessarily recognize was something whereby maybe it thought, and I've seen it even with my Garmin, right? There are places where it may not know that you can make a left, and yet you can. So it will kind of take you to go make a right and then make a U-turn or come back. But I don't know why. Even my Garmin will sometimes do that. So I realize, I think it's just with the GPS, with those maps, sometimes it depends on which company, and the fact that, like, these are tracking maps that you're trying to deal with. But overall, I'm impressed right now, at least based on what the maps were in July and now when I used it last week. It is amazing. But I think what impressed me even most is when I used it before, it didn't recognize some of the places, because you have an option when you say you're going to navigation, like here. I don't know if you guys are seeing this. You may or you may not be seeing it depending on the reflection. But first and foremost, you can go and put in what kind of vehicle you have, whether it's I forget even how you do this. I know it took me some time. I had to sit down and try and figure it out. But you can put in whether it's a bus, whether it's a tanker, whether it's a small car or what. Here I already put in my stuff. But you can go in and set up some of this stuff, right? And then the parameters like the maximum speed, stuff like that. Now, like for this maximum speed, I think the first time I got it, it was at 55. And I realized when I was driving on the roads, like I would go and drive like in an area where it's like maybe 70, and it would say I've exceeded the maximum speed. So I didn't know if it was going by what I put it in here, because it wasn't showing me what was on the road. Again, as I said, that was before then. So I changed this to 75. I didn't touch it this time, so I don't know if that plays a role. But you go in here and put in all, like your information, your track information, and then it stores it. Now, the thing that I said that I was impressed with is you choose the destination, right? And so in here, at first, when I used it in July, I would put in like Amazon, so that I can see which Amazon places it had. And it had like 1 or 2 Amazon warehouses. It didn't know most of the warehouses. This time when I used it, I would put in the name of, and it would throw out a bunch of Amazons, like almost all the Amazons. I don't remember putting in anything that it didn't find. You know, like you put in the name of the company and it could be able to find the name of that company. If it doesn't, then you just have to go by addresses. You put in, you know, like your city and your street and what have you. So let me say, for example, if I wanted here to say Walmart, right? If I wanted it to find me some, let's say Walmart distribution centers, since we go to distribution. Do they call them distribution centers? Okay. Let's say we go, I'll just put in Walmart distribution. Right now, when you go to search, you see how it's processing. It should come up with a bunch of them. You see, like there's one right there in Sanga. There is one right there in Temple. I'm surprised it only brings up 2. Because I would expect more than that. Let me see. No. I want distribution center. It only brings up Sanga. I wanted to see if it would bring up more, but it only brings up 2. I'm surprised by that. Let me see. Because I was impressed with the stuff I was putting in, like Amazon, it brought up most of the Amazons. So I was expecting more than that for Walmart, but let's see. It's taking a long time today. I don't know if it has to do with, yeah, it only brings up 2. That's a surprise. Anyway, so in that case, what you would have to do is you would go back and then you would put in, you know, like you go by the address, right? If it can't give you the name, then you just go by address. You just go in here, put in the city, street number, and all that stuff. And then it does, as I said, it does a good thing. Then the other thing, of course, it has a bunch of stuff. You see, like right here, one of the things that I realize, especially for own operators, I'm not sure if you can use this, by the way, for, you know, like, what do they call it? Hours of service per se. I don't know if you can connect it to some of those services that the own operators use, but all I know is like it can track your hours, because it will ask you, like when you stop at a place for more than 30 minutes or more than 10 minutes, it will ask you like, is this a break, so that you can put in there. But it has like a music player. You can connect a music player. It says a picture viewer. I haven't used these things like clothing calculator. I haven't used these things, but you see like there, trip monitor. You see like you can put in the current trip. Like these ones, I can just delete all this stuff. These are things I think I went to when I was using it. If you can remove that, but it tells you exactly like where I started, where I ended. It can show you stuff like how long it took you. So like for own operators, I could see like fuel consumption. It could help you with that. I know like I was seeing a lot of stuff that I know would be useful for own operators. And then you see like drive time management. That's what I was talking about. Do you want it to ask for waiting time, configure driving timers? You know, like you can put in a bunch of stuff there. But for me as a company driver, and I think for most people, you see route settings. You can put in like if you wanted to avoid, you know, like tolls, or you wanted to use tolls. Do you want it to avoid unpaved roads? Stuff like that. There's a bunch of stuff that you can like use program it to. You see like time zones. Do you want it to be auto, units and formats, miles per? I don't remember. I want to say, I think when it's like this, when I first used it. I don't remember if it was using miles per gallon or if it didn't have that. They could have just added this miles per gallon US. I don't remember that. You know, like you see how it has miles or yards. What do you want to use? Kilometers or meters? We here, of course, we use miles and feet, time format. Like it has a bunch of stuff. But all in all, the thing that I think I'm impressed with is that at the beginning, I really didn't like the maps, right? But now the maps really work really good. So I am impressed with that, with the way the maps work and the information, like you choose which information you want it to display on the screen. So I would say that if you're looking for, I don't know, by the way, how much this costs. It's on Amazon, I believe. Here's the name is XGODY. XGODY. I don't know if you guys can see that. XGODY. I'm not sure what the cost is, but I remember the last time I checked, it was, you know, like the compared to the Garmin's, I think it was less expensive. It was really good compared to the other expensive, you know, like GPSs, and yet it at least for the time that I used it this week, it did a good job. Again, as I said, the first time I used it, the maps were really bad, but now they have updated those maps. It has been doing it did a good job, and I like the size of the screen, and of course, as you can see, the screen also is very responsive. I like that about it, like it's responsive, so that is cool. So yeah, if you guys want to check it out, you can go to Amazon. I believe that's where they have it. All right, friends, until next time, stay blessed and stay safe. Bye-bye.